Today marks 1 week since the Remain in Mexico program was expanded to the Rio Grande Valley. The program requires asylum seekers to wait for their U.S. court date in Mexico. Human rights advocates and the Border Patrol Union are critical of how it's being re-implemented. KENS 5 Border Team reporter Anastasia Bolton has this Eyewitness News original.
The program is inherently inhumane.
Attorney Julia Neusner spent a week talking to asylum seekers instructed to wait in Mexico for their U.S. court date.
We've already seen serious access to counsel issues, due process concerns, and people are generally scared and disoriented in a place that's unfamiliar to them.
Migrants Julia interviewed have just been enrolled in what is called the Migrant Protection Protocol, or MPP, designed by President Donald Trump. President Joe Biden initially suspended it, only to be forced by a court order to restart it, slowly rolling out MPP starting in December, returning people to the very place Julia says where they've been already victimized.
Many had been kidnapped. One person I spoke with, a Nicaraguan asylum seeker, had been kidnapped and tortured and held for ransom.
International Organization for Migration, which is a part of the UN, helps migrants sent back to Mexico, providing transportation and COVID tests coming into the country and for court dates to come back to the U.S.
Another activity we're doing quite extensively along the northern border is we're supporting the shelters. So we're helping them to expand the capacity, so providing more beds, also to create infrastructure improvements, also quarantine spaces if necessary.
As of Tuesday, between 3 American border cities, IOM says a total of 381 people have been sent to wait in Mexico.
The MPP in the Rio Grande Valley is 50 people per day as a pilot, which is kind of silly because we had this thing already running super smooth.
Chris Cabrera is the vice president of National Border Patrol Council, a union for BP agents.
It's really not having too much of an effect on us because it's not being done the same way as before. It doesn't really have the deterrence factor.
The most recent CBP enforcement numbers for December show nearly 179,000 people crossed the southwest border, a 2% increase compared to November, the agency said. Some of them have tried to enter more than once.
Not having that deterrence is inhumane because our numbers drop significantly. They just stop coming, and that's the humane aspect of it.
Cabrera's been on the job 20 years. He has seen it all before. A failure, he calls it, on many levels, including the current leadership.
People's lives are at stake here, and if you have any shred of humanity in you, you come down here and see what it is and fix it because there is a real issue.
With Jose Sanchez, I'm Anastasia Bolton.
Cabrera tells us the president, the vice president, and the head of DHS needs to visit the border to truly understand and figure out the possible solutions. Since President Biden took office, he's expelled the majority of migrants using Title 42, a pandemic-related health emergency policy.